Assuming your Office 365 data is automatically backed up can feel a lot like this.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen,
Backing up Office 365 data with Veeam feels like this. So back it up with Veeam.
Welcome everyone, welcome on Omaha365 Virtual Edition 2020. So today I will talk about Microsoft Teams and project management. So one team to rule them on. Teams in project management. A few words about me. My name is Marcin Siewnicki. I live in Warsaw, Poland. I am Microsoft 365 architect and consultant. I work in ISCG. I'm also one of organizer of SharePoint Saturday Warsaw, and I focus on M365, Teams, SharePoint Online, Modern Workplace, and I'm also a big fan of automation inside Microsoft 365 and in other areas. If you want to contact, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or check my website. So a quick plan for today's session. So why Teams? Why do we need Teams for project management? Then I will talk a little about building blocks. What can we use? What features can we use from Teams? Data sources. So how can we connect with external world, with external tools, services? Next, I will talk a little about sample risk application built in PowerApps and how to embed and manage it and use it inside Teams. Then reports in project. So what can we use to and what can we do to use reporting capabilities inside Teams? And at the end, a little automation. So how can we automate and what can we automate in our project team? Okay, so this is based on a true customer story. A few months ago, I had a meeting with one of our customers. We talked about his current problems, obstacles, and challenges. And because he create and build and implement a lot of solutions for his own customers, and he starts up to 10 new projects every month. So it's a lot of work, a lot of management work. Those projects are complicated, a lot of tools, a lot of resources are used. So it's not easy task to manage those projects. And a lot of projects means even more complications. So a lot of project plans, meetings with customer, internal meetings, meetings with project managers, stakeholders, etc. A lot of notes, of course, notes from meetings, project notes, because it's mainly IT project and IT projects, so code repositories for code. Store for documents, documentation, that's one of the key part in his project management work. Tasks in many different systems, so from Outlook task to Jira to Azure DevOps and sometimes other solutions. Communications, a lot of communication between internal members, between product managers and stakeholders, sales guys, etc. And of course, customer. One of the most important part there. And our project team. And members of that team interact with each of that artifacts, so create meetings, notes, add new code to repositories, create tasks, manage tasks, etc. And of course, customer also need to collaborate with project team, to communicate, add new documents, work with project plan, work with some members of that project. So that's not simple. So my quick answer was that let's use Teams. So we have a secure communication inside Teams, dedicated feature for meetings, files, great store for files and collaboration, calls, of course, but it's advanced tool, and applications and processes, so you can build great stuff using Teams, and all of this inside Teams. But our customer said that they've already tried that approach. They used Teams for 3 or 4 projects. So while communication features like chats, group chats, and meetings are great, they use it every day, but it's just another tool, one additional tool that we need to use. We can talk inside Teams. That's great about that project. We can store files, but if we want to share files with our customer, we create one additional SharePoint site or library and share. We must switch between Jira, Azure DevOps, and other tools. We have reporting somewhere else. It's simply one more tool, and I don't want one additional tool. That's not for me. Okay, but Teams is the hub for teamwork. It's not additional tool. If we use it as additional tool like storage for files or place for discussion, it won't work as it should. Okay, but how to do this? What does it mean that it's a hub for teamwork? So let's go and see what features can we use for create a proper hub, and how to use that Teams as a hub. So inside Teams, we have a lot of features that we can use as a building blocks for our project management place or anything else we want. So we have teams. We have channels inside those teams. We can create and use tabs in each channel. We can use additional application. We can add automation for our team. We have notifications and bots, adaptive cards, message extension, and modules. And so we can not only build from ready-to-use blocks, but we can also extend using bots, adaptive cards, and extensions. So we can programmatically extend our teams if we need something special, something extra that's not already in Teams. In today's session, I will focus on out-of-the-box features, so teams, channels, tabs, applications, and some simple automation. So let's go to Teams and use those building blocks. Let's build some basic project team. I will switch to my web browser. Okay, so we can create a simple team, a new team from scratch. We can call it project. Let's say PS10, and create a project. Great. I can add members to my project, but I will skip it for demo. So I have a new blank project, a new team for my project. So I start with general channel. So I can talk and put general information about my project, but I can also add additional channels to divide communication into specific areas. So I will help myself with PS1 because I've already used that one. So I will create 4 additional channels and with dedicated colors. That's very important. So let's add a new channel. Let's say dailies. Dailies, it's a channel for talk about daily meetings, problems, etc. And I will add some color and some icon using Windows button plus dot, and I will use the yellow one. Yes, it's a standard channel. Great, so I have the same color as is my other theme, but it's yellow. Let's add one more channel. This time it will be green, green and tests, because we must test our product, our solution. So it's channel dedicated only for, or strictly for tests. And as you can see, I have green and yellow circular icons here, so I can quickly and easily visually find a proper channel. So it's very important, because if we work in many projects, many different projects, and we use the standard and the same visual patterns, it's much easier to find required or needed channel or project, or even project. So if I will join a new project, so I will know that green channels are for tests. So it's much easier to find that one if we have a lot of teams, a lot of channels. Okay, great. But what if I want to invite additional members, let's say customers or external users? We can do this using Teams. So if I want to invite external user, my customer, to my project team, I can simply go here and use the add member functionality, but this time I must type his email address. So let's say test.com. As we can see, there's a message that it will be a guest user, and I can add this user to my team. I think that there's no one exists, and the external user, so guest, will get an email, a message with invitation and details with URL to my team. And now my customer can simply go here, check current status of my project, talk with the project members, even upload files. That's great. But if we want to divide communication between customer and internal members, we can do this. We can create a private channel, and of course with color icon. For this I will use red icon. Great, and I will name it internal and use a private channel capabilities. Great, and I can add members from my team that will be able to go and see and interact with that in that channel. I will skip that here, and so this private channel is visible only for members of that channel. So there is also a small lock icon near the name. So if I want to talk about something, about finance stuff, about holidays, or very specific stuff that I want to keep only in my company, and I don't want to share that information with my customer, with my guests, so I can create private channels for that kind of communications. Of course, inside this private channel I can use files and additional tabs, but I will talk about that later. Let's add one more channel. This one, it will be this one, this one, and it will dev doc, and it will also be a private one. I will skip it. Okay. Now I recreated the same structure and same color patterns like with that project PS1, so it's much easier to navigate. And if I will join a new project, I will know that red is for internal, green for tests, yellow for dailies, etc. So we can create as many channels as we need. But we can also change entire team icon. It's also maybe very small feature, but also important, because as you can see here, I have marketing side, onboarding, Contoso, etc. And each of those teams has own specific icon. Well, it's a great feature. I can upload my own icon for team, but if I use different icons for different projects, I could easily lost because that icon will be only a icon. It's too small to identify details, and if I have many projects with each project with its own icon, it's not easy to find, to move and navigate using icons. The better idea is to create a consistent and simple icon and use that icon in every project team. So I created a green, so solid green color, simple icon with only one letter P. Manage team. I can go here and upload my custom icon. So upload picture, and this is my dedicated icon. So solid green as a background color and simple letter P. Save, and that's it. So I know that every project team has a dedicated green icon with only P. So it's much easier to identify that this one is for project and other teams are for something else. We can of course use icons, dedicated icons with colors, with details, but keep it for very unique teams, like org-wide team for entire company, maybe for internal communication, for departments. But if we create 20, 50, or even hundreds of teams for projects, it's better and easier to use only one icon to be consistent. Okay, so we have a great basic structure for my project. So I can go to general, and of course inside each channel we can it's still using, okay, it will load in a minute. Yep, so we can use files to store our product files. Inside channel dailies we can store notes from dailies, from additional files for dailies. Inside test channel we can store files dedicated to tests, test scenarios, etc. So we can store files directly inside Teams. We don't need to switch to external tool, to SharePoint. But if we invite guest user, invite our customer to our team, we don't need to create a separate SharePoint site or using SharePoint Online to share files with him. We can, of course, use the files as well and share files here. So if I upload any file, I will request my documents. Yep. So I can simply drag and drop some files here, and every guest, every customer that are invited will be able to see those files and also collaborate, modify those files. So it's very easy and very powerful, because external users, customers, guests, they can also upload files. So that's great, because I don't need to prepare additional place or share in some dedicated service or SharePoint Online. I can use Teams, that specific project team, so all files or information will be stored inside one place. Okay. Next, very important feature if you want to use Teams for project management is, of course, we can use cloud touring, so we can open Word, Excel, or PowerPoint file inside Teams, directly in Teams. We don't need to switch to a desktop application if we want to do some quick changes or simply read it. But what about Microsoft project file? So file with MPP extension. If I upload project plan from project application to Teams, if I click it, well, it won't show anything because there's any native no preview functionality inside Teams. So I have to download this file and open it locally in my project application, but it's not so easy. But I can click and open it in project. Yes, open project, and it will open my project plan inside my project desktop application. But this time where's my project? But this time it will be automatically connected to Teams. Here we go. So if I change something here, add new task, and click save, it will be automatically saved to Teams. We can see that this is automatically saved in this sites, project PS 10, shared documents in channel general, and we can use this feature for creating new project plans, editing existing, and to work with our project plans inside Teams. So we don't need external share or space for project plans. We can use this as an automatic store, and only one store for projects. And we don't need to download a file to open it and upload again. We can work with it directly from Teams. So we have a simple project team with simple structure, with some colors and private channels. What next? So this is our building blocks. And yeah, my customer said that, okay, that's great, but we have also additional applications like Jira, DevOps, Azure DevOps, and many others. And what about that? How can I use those applications? Is it possible? Yes, it is. So Teams has a lot of features ready to use, and to allow us to integrate with external data sources or external application services. On this slide, you can see there's a lot of building blocks like tabs, bots, adaptive cards, etc. But I will focus only on tabs because it's out of the box and ready to use. Other features, other blocks are we need required some custom code, maybe some scripting. So let's focus only on tabs, and behind the user interface we have a lot of features, functionalities that allows us to communicate with external data sources. We can use Azure, Graph, SharePoint, PowerApps, Power Automate with flows, and dedicated third-party connectors and webhooks. So out of the box, we got a lot of ready-to-use apps that integrate or use external services or applications. We have a lot of Microsoft apps, so we can connect to Excel, OneNote, Planner, SharePoint Online, Microsoft Forms, Yammer, PowerBI, etc. But we have also a lot of third-party apps, so we can use them to, if we want to integrate with them. We have such apps like Adobe, YouTube, Jira, Azure DevOps, GitHub, Salesforce, Jenkins, etc. So there's a huge store with those applications. So let's switch to okay, so let's switch to our store. So using this plus sign, I can add additional tab and specific which app I want to use. So I can use native Microsoft application like Stream, SharePoint, Excel to embed any specific file or page and display it inside my team, inside my channel. But I can also use third-party apps. I go to the full list of apps. So as you can see, there's a lot of apps. I can scroll down and again. So we can go here and search if there's any app or connector that we need to use. My customer required that he required a Jira and Azure DevOps because they use those two services for projects. So Azure DevOps mainly as a code repository and maybe some tasks and issues, and Jira Cloud as a task management system. So what about that? So we can go to our project PS10 team, add, and if I start from Jira Cloud, so I can add Jira Cloud here. Yeah, so I must provide my Jira account URL. So this is my test account, connect. Then it will connect with cloud service, with Jira Cloud Service, and I can choose from my filter. So I must prepare a filter for my project before I will be able to use it in Teams. Let's say this one and save. Loading and boom. We've just connected our Jira board to Microsoft Teams. And so I can see all my tasks inside Teams, inside tab. I don't need to additional or additional web browser, web tab, and load that page. I can use it here. But what's more important, it's not only a plain list with filtering. I can also interact with that list. So I can create an issue. This project PS1. Let's say it's a bug. Okay, missing labels in start up page. I can add some description here and create. Done. I will refresh the tab. And it's here. So I can create issues directly from Teams. But if I click this one, it will open task details or bug details. So I can assign it to me, set status in progress, change priority, add some comments. I'm working on it. Yeah, that's it. Close, and it's automatically updated. So using this ready to use out of the box third-party apps, I can connect to my Jira Cloud project, my Jira Cloud account and my specific project, and work with issues, tasks, user stories, etc. So I don't need to switch to dedicated web browser with my Jira project. Of course, if I need additional information like some specific report or something like that, so I will have to go to that page, but I can also use a website tab to simply embed specific website. So if I have some kind of specific or predefined report in my Jira, I can Jira report. So I can paste URL to that report here and embed it and use it as a tab inside my team, inside my product channel. So I want to switch between up, and I don't have to, because I can use these third-party apps. But what about Azure DevOps? The same story as in Jira, but I must search for it. Yeah, Azure DevOps. Add it here. So I must select my organization. Yes. My organization is this one. This is my test account. Yep. I can select my project. It's PS1. Yes, it's team. It's a PS1 team and dashboard overview. And the same story as with Jira Cloud. I've just connected to my Azure DevOps board, to my Azure DevOps services, and I can see all of existing tasks, tasks assigned to me, etc. So I can clearly see what's going on inside my project. If there's any work in progress, how many tasks, bugs there are inside this project. I can monitor deployments, or I can access code repository directly from this tab. If I click this one, sprint, it will, of course, sometimes it will redirect me to my to dedicated new page, but for most of the features I can click here, and if I click error or bug, I can modify this bug. Let's say done directly from this Azure DevOps tab. And using Azure DevOps and DevOps dashboards, I can modify this view. So if I need only a tasks or code repository widget or any other widgets, I can build my dashboard and using Azure DevOps app, use it inside Teams. So I don't need to switch. I can, so my project team can stay inside Teams and switch to specific channel, specific tab, and work without switching to different apps. And we can go and using search functionality, we can check if there's any app that we need in our project team. If we can't find it here, then we can use PowerApps to build a dedicated app or build a totally custom app and import it to our team store. So let's go back to our presentation in our data sources. So that's good. Our customer was very happy about that Jira and Azure DevOps apps, but there's also an app or maybe two that we extremely need. And well, in fact, that this one specific app doesn't exist. It's some kind of process. We use emails to sending information about projects, about risks, statuses. So each project manager send a huge table in email once a week to top management, and top management read that emails, and that's all. But we would like to use or the same or very similar functionality inside Teams. What about that? So to build that application, we used a dedicated app, Canvas app in PowerApps. So we can use PowerApp app to add any existing and already created app in our environment. This is this one risk assessment. Save it, and any PowerApps application will work the same way as other apps, so like Jira or Azure DevOps. So it will be visible inside the specific app, the specific tab, and we can interact with this app, add new items, elements, risk, etc. So for this client, we created a very simple app. So it's only one feature, add new risk. So PM is very busy in other projects. Some description, other you can this is only me, so you can assign risk owner, risk the person that we want to assign to, status, it's active, impact, so it's for and probability, for and due date for that risk, and save it, and it will add to our list. So you can visually go there and check the current risks in our project. So before that, the customer used email based system, so emails with huge tables for each project with risk statement, etc. So now each project manager can simply go to this app, add risks, and management can easily see those risks in dedicated SharePoint list. So it's very simple. It's very simple inside. If I go to my office.com and open my PowerApps, and there's my apps. And this is risk assessment. Okay, it's loading. Let's give it a few more seconds. So if you need a dedicated application or a very unique application to use in our projects, so we can easily go to PowerApps and create it. And I suggest using the agile approach. So create a very basic application first, then start using it. Then each week or each cycle add some new features, fix bugs, add some fix user interface, etc. So this is my app. Only 3 screens, very simple. For the first version took me about 1 hour to prepare, so it's fully working. Only 1 hour spent on PowerApps, and it's definitely much better than tons of emails with tables using each week. And using this add PowerApps as a tab, you can embed any specific PowerApps application inside specific teams. So the same as before, we don't need to switch to different web pages, different sites, different applications. We can work directly from our project. So that's very important, because we minimize the number of tools that we are using every day. So that's better. We don't want to switch from app to app. I'll switch back to our slides. So risk assessment app, very simple app, and using PowerApps. This is no code or very low code tool for creating applications. We can embed our PowerApp inside Teams using tabs. Of course, using Teams Admin Center, we can manage those apps. We can using PowerApps, we can connect to not only to our office environment, but we can also connect to external services or systems. So it's very powerful and easy to use. Okay, what's next? Our happy customer. Yeah, managers requires reports. That's very important part of each project, because we want to see and we need to see progress, costs, etc. So that's very important part. What about reports? Can we use existing reports inside our project team? Well, we can, of course. It depends on type of project, type of system that we currently use. But if we use Excel, it's very simple. We can use Excel app and embed and display any Excel report with charts that we already have. We need to upload this Excel file to our team, and using this tab we can visualize that. I will use this internal private channel for this. But if we use, or if we have already created a Power BI report, it's okay, my workspace. So I've just prepared. I will use some pre-existing Power BI report, and I can embed it the same way I used in Azure DevOps. So this one is connected to my Azure DevOps project and shows current status of that project. So using the Power BI application, you can easily embed and work with that report without switching to Power BI or Power BI desktop, or using additional tabs in our app. So because it's a native app, we can use any existing filters. we can use, let's go to this dashboard. Now here. So you can use and select any specific data, and it will filter. This is weeks, let's say days. No, without days, it's empty. But using PowerBI, we can work and see data. PowerBI periodically update each of the reports, so we will get always the most current data that we need. Of course, this is native because it's PowerBI. It's part of Microsoft 365, so it's native. It works the best way. But if we required or need use additional, third-party reports, third-party vendors, so we have to check that. We can use, of course, dedicated app if it's there, or use website capability to embed an existing report from external systems. Of course, if it's available from internet. But using Power BI is very easy. So if you already have Power BI, so it's very easy to embed, and it's a little game changer because it's so easy, and every team member will have access to information and will be up to date with current project, current status, and other information that we will share to that members. So we have reports using Power BI or maybe other tools. So we can use Power BI in this case as a dedicated tab. We can, of course, because it's Teams, you can share those reports during the meetings. And using Power BI, we can use data from Excel CSV that we already uploaded to our SharePoint or OneDrive store. We can connect, of course, to external data sources, and we can set any required permission to our data. Okay, we are almost there. But okay, it seems fine. We have now all or most of our services inside one team, one place, so that's good. That's much better than we've had it before. But if I need 5 or 10 projects start each month, should I create it and configure manually? It's waste of time. Well, of course not. There's some automation possibilities that we can use, capabilities. So I will switch to my flow. So to automate, I used Power Automate and Flow, and dedicated flow inside Power Automate to create a new team based on our predefined template. So I don't need to manually create team, assign permissions, create channels, add tabs. No, I use a simple SharePoint list with very simple form. So I need to provide titles, so as project PS11. I can add some description, check if it's private or public one, specify owners of that team, and yep, this one. And members, and that's all. Save, and right now it will start this dedicated flow. And because there's no dedicated action inside flow for creating teams, we can create message inside teams, channels, we can read messages, etc. But there's no action, dedicated action to create a team. So we have to use Graph API and HTTP request for that. So I can use requests and using a few requests and few JSON actions to manipulate data. I can create a team, create channels, assign permissions to owners, to members, etc. And I can also add additional tasks or emails, messages if I require it, but using only this quite simple flow, I can automate it, and it will take a few minutes. Let's say if it's ready or not. I don't think so it's ready, but okay, yes, it's project PS11, it's ready. And what's inside, internal, yeah, we have 4 channels with icons. That's good, but there's missing icon, and if I go to my general tab, yeah, there's no additional tabs, so I must wait for that. But using templates, I can create team based on another team, and it will create all of tabs. But if this tab is connected, or if the app is connected to external data source, external service, I must go there and manually connect it to that service, because that's obvious. I know I'm not storing any connections data and logins and passwords, so I will have to go there and manually connect to my Jira or to my Azure DevOps. But it's predefined project team, so I can go connect to my Azure DevOps, Jira, or something other, or some other services, and it's ready to use. And so if I start my project using some form, it will create my teams team inside teams for my project, and maybe additional artifacts required for my project, like placing somewhere in Dynamics, maybe some storage, some share, maybe project in Azure DevOps, etc. So it's depends on our requirements, but we can use automation in Power Automate to do this. In next couple of months, Microsoft will release update to Teams templates, so it will be much easier to use with a lot of new capabilities, new features. So we will be able to create new templates ready to use by users, and I think that's a chance that we will get a dedicated action in Power Automate, so it should be much easier. But it's we must wait a few months for that update. But currently we have to use some automation. Power Automate is a great choice, because we can simply and quickly create very small flow, only 15, maybe 20 actions, and it will create dedicated team for my project based on some predefined one. Okay, so go back to our slides. So for automation, and because Power Automate, it's not only for Teams automation or create new teams, but we can use it also for other automation tasks. So we can automate approvals for our documents in projects. We can automate sending reports if we send periodically reports with Excel to our stakeholders or to external customers. So we can also automate that kind of task, and many others, other tasks or processes. So Power Automation is, I would say, fair choice for automation, anything inside our teams. So yeah, it's working, and our customer was very happy because now he can use Teams and manage projects and work on projects using Teams and maybe 3 or 4 additional tools, and not skipping between apps. And because it's Teams, he can quickly find any required materials, documents, or information only in one place. There's no other places where with shares, with reports, with documents, etc. One place, so one tool to rule them all. So that's the overall, so the entire project, entire shift from many different tools to Teams was a big success. So that's all for today's session. Thank you very much for your time. I hope that you find some interesting information from my session, and use Teams as a hub for your teamwork, not only for communication. Okay, and thank you very much again, and stay safe. Bye.